should have titled the video "You wouldn't believe this" or "This is terrifying. They don't want you to know this." "I didn't want to make this video," or "Hacked," or "I should not have done this," or, to be completely tone deaf, "Mistakes were made." Anyway, here is a quick show and tell of a little internet radio that I built. For a long time I've been curious about small speaker project that I saw on the internet. DIY Perks had one and he claims that it sounds amazing, just for example, and there are others. Then I found this beautiful HexiBox design based on a transmission line and 2 small speakers, and I thought that it's about time I try building one myself. Initially I thought it's going to be just a quick 3D print, but quickly I realized that the speakers HexiBox used and those that I had at my disposal are fairly different, and I wouldn't be able to mount them in his enclosure. I started adapting the mesh in Blender as I would normally fix other people's STLs, but quickly realized that my change can't be limited to just offsetting some mounting holes. I wanted to make a standalone appliance, an internet radio which you can put in a kitchen or somewhere, and it wouldn't require anything except a power cord and a Wi-Fi connection. So I needed some room for the electronics, cables and stuff. There were also minor details that I didn't like in the original, such as fillets, which print ugly. So anyway, I used HexiBox speaker as a reference to create my own design in FreeCAD. The dimensions are roughly the same, but there are several important differences. It fits my specific Taobao 2-inch speakers. It has a place to install a small OLED display and an encoder to control the radio. It has a hidden cable channel that passes all the wiring to the back of the speaker. And the back of the speaker has room for an ESP32 board and two 3-watt amplifiers. Except for the rear cover, it prints in one piece and has no fillets facing down. I will undo one speaker and see if we can carefully remove it. These screws are really longer than necessary for this box. This one is shorter than others, because you will see in a moment why. It doesn't want to pop off. Why? Did it glue itself in? I have no idea. Okay, so here goes. There's the speaker. The speakers are bi-wired, you could say, bi-amped even. So each one has separate pair of wires that goes down that cable channel hidden in there. So all the cables are threaded through a special cable that goes kind of around the box here and exits here, and we will here, and we will see what's under this cover next. For now, I think I'll just make sure that we can see what's inside. So there is the encoder board, and the screw that I had to shorten would really destroy it, so I had to shorten the screw. And here there is an OLED display. Yeah, so let's screw it back in place before we destroy it. Oops. Okay, that's probably tight enough. Let's check that it still works. Use some compromise. Yeah, great. Still works. So the rear cover, it's probably a little bit tight in here. I should have made a larger compartment for the electronics, and maybe I will, because I have some different ideas for this box already. As a radio, I cannot really say that I am 100% happy with it, because, well, one thing is when someone on YouTube says that they're impressed with its sound, and completely different thing is whether this sound is really good. So I am really impressed with the sound of this thing, because these are fairly small. You don't expect basically about 3 watts of electric power to fill the entire flat, and it does, but you can't really expect anything reasonably pleasant in the low end from this. And yeah, it's fine, and for a lot of kinds of music it's okay. For example, chiptune is perfectly fine, punk rock, awesome. But if you like something with a little bit more low end, like some ambient, it sounds tinny and unpleasant. So I'm thinking maybe I would convert it into a little guitar amp, because, well, I don't think it would really need a lot of low end, and it is loud enough actually to play in small room. So maybe that's a better choice for this, and maybe it could even do some effects. So anyway, here's what happens here. The cable channel that was going from here, and it passes here, and it exits here. So this wiring, well, part of it is the encoder and I2C display. 4 wires go to the speakers. Here are 2 amplifiers. They are rated 3 watt each, but that's the thing. This 3 watt is like theoretical maximum power with 10% total harmonic distortion, so it's not really the power at which you want to run them in a nice speaker. I think they work nicely in about 1 watt range, and because I have 2 speakers, I decided that rather than trying to like brute force using just 1 amplifier in its extreme mode, I will use just 2 of them in parallel. So they get the same digital I2S input both. They in fact kind of daisy chain, so the wiring is not visible here, and I don't really want to disturb this. The wiring goes to this one, and then jump cables go to this one, and then it all enters here. So this is a clone of a clone of a clone of some ESP32 module with a large PS RAM for buffer. And the unpleasant thing about it is there is absolutely no mounting holes, so I had to kind of make it friction fit in a tight space here, so it's not fixed at all. So, well, probably not good, but as long as you remember it, you can avoid disrupting it. And this knee adapter, which just helps the cable exit at a convenient direction. So, well, that's all there is about it. Like I said, being impressed and having good quality is, well, you can be really impressed by shit quality. So, yeah, it's okay. It's nice for chiptune style music. Surprisingly, there is psyradio.org, which has mostly psytrance music, and surprisingly it sometimes sounds really well, because probably it's mixed differently, so there is kind of lends itself to this kind of speaker well. A lot depends on the mix. So music that would sound in a cheap car probably would sound well in this one. Yeah, but I think I might want to try and modify it to use it as a guitar amp later. I'll just design a different rear cover. It will house the input, the 1/4-inch jack from the top. Yeah, right here. Yeah, and all the processing. Well, yeah, it will need a preamp, which will also probably fit down here. And then it would enter the ESP32 and will be doing some processing and amplification in the same 3-watt amps. So that will be pretty nice, I think. Anyway, thank you for watching. By the way, here's a neat trick. The wires, they kind of want to get out of the way, and I didn't bother designing because, well, there is no way of knowing which wire will go there unless you design a PCB for that, and I was too lazy to design a PCB. So instead of using hot glue to fix the wires in place, I just used blue tack, white tack, whatever this thing is, chewing gum. So it just holds the wires in place good enough for a while until you can press the lid on, and then you can just screw it nice and tight, and then you just don't really care what's inside anymore. I tried measuring with a power meter how much it can take when at maximum loudness. I think about 5 watt is the biggest that I saw, but probably much better when it's at much lower volume. This will probably get me in trouble. Is there... Yeah. Anyway. Bye.